guys, thanks for tuning in. This is Optibotimus with another video review. And today we're going to be taking a look at the new 6-inch version of Legolas Greenleaf from the new Hobbit movie. As you can see, very similar packaging to what we got before with the really nice kind of background of Middle-earth. Really cool, nice bubble here. You got Orlando Bloom right on the front as Legolas. Flip it around here. On the back, you see other figures that are in the line. Obviously, Bilbo, Thorin Oakenshield, Thranduil, and of course, Gandalf the Grey. A little bit larger size image of Legolas right there, as well as a bio of backstory kind of the actual movie, as well as a little bit of a read-up on Legolas himself. Really kind of cool. Now, one thing that I will be totally upfront with that makes me a little bit concerned with the 3 3/4 inch figures. All these figures that had the long kind of clothing, I guess you could call it, had very bad articulation, at least in the leg area, because this plastic was hard. Now, with Bilbo, we saw that he had a softer plastic for his clothing, so I'm really kind of hoping that's the same thing. Now, obviously, it's still not going to be very good, because that, to me, looks like it's all the way around. There doesn't appear to be any kind of slits or anything in it, so it looks like something that is going to be a possible issue, but we'll see. You see the accessories that he has. And one thing that I'm noticing is he kind of sort of has a Legolas, or I should say Orlando Bloom likeness, but it's not entirely spot on, but it's still fairly close. The Bridge Direct does a pretty good job with it, but still the paint detail on the rest of the body and the sculpting still looks fantastic. So really curious to see what we're gonna really get with this figure, but the only way that we can tell is to get him open, and let's see how cool he actually is. Alright guys, so here we have the 6-inch Legolas open up and out of its packaging. And one thing that I was talking about was my fear about this. It's really not all that bad. It is actually a lot softer than what we got with a 3 3/4 inch one. The problem that I have is the feet. Sometimes it's a little bit difficult to actually get them to stand. You have to really kind of force this up to kind of get into a position where he's able to stand, because otherwise if you leave it, he's too back heavy and he'll fall back even when this isn't on. So when I open it up, I just did a little bit of pushing up on the bottom part of the foot, just push up right here, and then actually kind of warp the plastic just a little bit where he's actually able to stand. But other than that, I really do love the way that this figure looks. He doesn't necessarily, like I said, completely look like Orlando Bloom. And zooming in, you can see that there is a facsimile with him. It doesn't look too bad, and you can see he's kind of looking up in this. But again, absolutely wonderfully painted eyes. I love the way those look, and it definitely gives a very serious look. Now, this is Legolas in The Hobbit, which is a younger version of the character. And that's probably why I'm not too particular about the look not being all that spot on, because he looks different than what we got in the Lord of the Rings. The Lord of the Rings version, he was older. So very kind of cool likeness. I do like it. And then, again, beautiful detail in the actual armor. I mean, so very elegant and beautiful looking. Now, he is a prince, so he's going to have some nice armor and such, but the elves just know how to design their stuff. I mean, this is just an absolute stunning looking set. Wonderful paint job. Even on the quiver here, you got some nice gold highlights. Now, on his bow, he does come with a bow and arrow set, and get him to stand. Again, look how gorgeous that is. Oh, it wants to focus on Legos here. There we go. But again, wonderful looking paint job all the way throughout here. So very cool. The only way that would make this better is if there was actually a string to use. But beyond that, very, very nice. Now, he does come with his little swords. Smaller versions of swords, I suppose. They are identical looking, but you can see same beautiful detail on the blades and such. Wonderful handle. I mean, the handles even have wonderful detail. I mean, these really almost look like they're real. I mean, that's how wonderful these really look. Really, it's kind of hard to tell, but the bottom is actually painted silver or gold. So very cool. I love these. And then the other thing, I mean, obviously he comes with his quiver, but all of these are separate. I mean, he actually comes with a total of 6 arrows, which is very cool. I mean, that was something I was absolutely surprised with, and then they all just fit right in there. I mean, I was shocked, really, when I saw that. I mean, that is something that you don't get nowadays. They don't give you individual things like that. They're all separate, or I'm sorry, they're all kind of molded together, and then, like I said, you can just slide his swords down here and have a storage space for those. It's kind of a pain in the butt, honestly. There we go. Come on, get in there. Get your, something like that. But very cool nonetheless. And then the whole quiver itself will detach, and you can see that this kind of sucks. It doesn't really sit in there all that well, but there you go. It just has a little peg right here, and then to be accurate, because Legolas always held the bow in his left hand, and he handled the arrows with his right hand. So you just kind of wedge this in there, and then you just wedge it in there a little bit more. That'll probably actually make the hand warp, but I'm going to have him hold it there just because I think it looks very cool. Now, for his articulation, the head is unfortunately very limited because of his hair. I mean, he can look like that, but that's really about it. I mean, the hair is very kind of rigid. You're not going to get much motion out of it, but I love the way that the hair looks. So very nice. It's almost kind of like different paint job on here too. You can kind of see it's a darker color, and then it gets lighter down here. That's unfortunate. That's all you're really going to get for his articulation. The arms here move in and out at the shoulders, forward and back. Obviously, they're on pin and socket joints, so you get a nice range of motion. Same pin and socket joint here at the elbow. Range of motion there, forward and back. Also rotates. The wrists also rotate. The hips are articulated. You can kind of feel them moving up in here, but really that's about it. And then the knees will move forward, back. They also rotate, and then the feet forward and back. And they'll also rotate, but because of the way that his pants are designed, you're not going to get much, because you can see that it kind of comes down over his foot. So it's not as articulated as I wish it would have been, but it's still, this is the best looking version of the character that we've gotten. Just to kind of do a size comparison for you, and to really kind of, again, illustrate the size difference between a, more man-sized figure. Legolas, he's an elf, so he's not a man, but you can kind of see they're basically the same height. And here we have a Hobbit in terms of Bilbo, and I love the fact that these things are so scaled nicely. It almost kind of makes things a little bit more unfortunate, because this is a $14.99 figure, this is a $14.99 figure, this is a bigger figure, and it's the same price as this. So you're almost getting a better deal with these larger figures, because maybe this guy should be like $11.99 or something like that, but still really cool looking. Collection wise, I really believe that the 6-inch versions of these figures are going to be what collectors are going to want to have. The 3 3/4-inch ones are nice looking figures, especially when you consider how small they actually are. There's a nice amount of detail in those little tiny figures. And then you upsize them to these 6-inch versions, and it just gets even more impressive. While this guy's posability is still not all that great because of the way that his dress is, the articulation is still there. You just can't really use it that much. The sculpt, the paint, everything on here, the design, all look fantastic. One thing that absolutely impresses me, like I said, are all the individual arrows. That's something that, honestly, I have not seen done on an action figure in a very, very long time. So kudos to Bridge Direct for actually doing that. To me, they're really stepping up their game with these 6-inch figures, and these are well worth picking up. As I said, $15, definitely worth the money. But that's about it, guys. So I want to thank you for tuning in. This has been Optibotimus. Keep in touch with me. Find out recent purchases as well as upcoming videos all at facebook.com/teambotimus and twitter.com/Optibotimus. And until next time, I'll talk to you later.